Okay, and let me say what we discussed before. Let me do it a little bit of on a video because I think that will help you a little bit more. Okay, look, Antler. Here in the center of Singapore, the key thing that we mentioned is Rocher, Bencoolen, Brabazon, Bugis, and actually Dobby God is not too far, like 13-minute walk. I just checked it before discarding. Then, in terms of first option, I would recommend because you just follow the blue line, okay? What we mentioned, it's basically from this one, you're doing Rocher, Bugis. It's not ideal because you have to do this turn, but it's not that long, okay? Is Chinatown, okay? It's not ideal. You're doing 6 stops, but very convenient, and it could be cheap, and you're very central. I would say the key advantage of Chinatown is that it's a cheaper area within the central area. Okay, then when you're looking at other options, yellow line, okay? As we see, the yellow line does this curve, okay? So this curve becomes interesting because I think, because I think you can follow this curve, okay? You can take this stop, and there's areas in Stadium, Mountbatten, and where is it here? Dakota, Dakota, where in this area, in the Geylang River, you pass this, okay? And it can be quite cheap, okay? Then alternatively, let me just check 1 second. I want to make sure that this is okay. Is working correctly. Green line. Why is green line so interesting? Because you have Bugis Junction here, okay, and then all the green line follows the coast, okay, but far from the coast. So that means it's much cheaper, okay. If you want to be next to the coast and be next to the water every day, that's going to cost you. And that's the reality. The East Coast next to the sea is expensive. However, if you go into this area, you'll see that both the blue line and the green line go in parallel into these areas. You're going to save tons of money, and location wise, very easy to get here. The blue line, a little bit less, because you see you're going down in Rocher, and you'll have to stop in Bencoolen. It's not as inconvenient as Rocher, but it's actually really good. Okay, so it's actually, no, it's fine. Then I would say the another option is the red line. Okay, this one that you go that you see going up. Well, I don't know why it's not showing. Okay, Bishan, Bradell, Topayo, okay, which are areas that are relatively not too far. Why? Because, for example, if you want to go from Antler to Bishan, you see, 33 minutes, very convenient, okay, including walking, okay, so it's not far, okay. Bishan MRT, obviously you will need to live around, so you will have to add the walking to the Bishan MRT, but for example, or all this area, so that's quite convenient, and this is much cheaper prices for sure, because it's far from the sea, it's far from the center, but at the same time, if you need to go to constantly to Antler, that work well. And then the blue line, now I think you have enough options. The area that I mentioned was the blue line directly, continuing this area. But this is all expensive. And then it starts to become cheaper in this area here. But this is really, there's nothing to do here. While all these other areas have their charm, have more activity for sure here. So I would recommend to you have those options: Chinatown, yellow line, this area, green line, blue line, and red line, and all these areas that I mentioned, Bishan, the blue line, the farther you go, the cheaper it's gonna get. And green line, I think, for example, Yunus is already cheap enough, and it's not too far. Okay, you don't need to go to the airport. So I think that's very convenient. I hope that's helpful. Okay, tell me if you need any help. Addition, any advice? It's a tough gig to join and have to find a house and then work. So hoping this can be a little bit helpful. Okay, cool.